Hey folks, how are you? Is back with another video, and on this one I want to analyze the QQQ Tesla spy footage and a few more tickers. I'll provide an honest assessment of the current state of the economic calendar, the news' take on the markets, and the state of the charts. Just to be clear, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take anything I say as financial advice before I start. Additionally, if it's possible, kindly click the Webull link that appears in the description and below. You will receive 20 free stocks upon signing up for Webull via this link and making a $500 deposit into your account. You will receive 75 complimentary stocks if you deposit $25,000 or more. There are only a few weeks left on that offer. In any case, you can see that Tesla is doing fairly well in this market as it attempts to maintain its position above the 170 area. We have the ability to reach this imbalance and eventually reach this 172.704 if we manage to hold above this. Overall, though, Tesla is displaying a great deal of vitality and strength. So let's start by discussing the data before delving into further details about Tesla and the markets. Thus, today's initial 221,000 jobless claims were higher than anticipated. The markets are holding up fairly well in spite of this. The labor market is showing some signs of weakening, which is exactly what the Fed wants because it will be much better for inflationary statistics. Continuing jobless claims came in below estimates. Everything about imports and exports was extremely close to the projection. In addition to imports being somewhat stronger than desired, we saw that exports were slightly stronger than anticipated. Thus, not at all bad. As we start to see greater momentum in U.S. equities and other markets, the dollar is still declining. Now, for some market-related news on Wednesday, the Dow fell for the third straight day. The 30 stock index experienced significant declines, while other tickers appeared to be trading more sideways, and certain things did perform better than it, like the Nasdaq and the SP 500, but this is a bit of a shift. Hundreds of positions in sales and marketing departments and physical store technology are being eliminated by Amazon's cloud computing division. This comes as no surprise in these trying circumstances, and that's crucial because of the recent adjustments they made to their French outlets. The entire board of Disney was re-elected by shareholders on Wednesday. Everything is going okay so far. You also mentioned yesterday's speech by Jerome Powell. He is taking his time easing monetary policy. He also said that, given the current findings, it is too soon to determine whether or not rates will be lowered due to inflation. Therefore, before taking any further action of that nature, they require a little bit more information. Excuse me, but he also mentioned that when they get closer to the 2% targets, there might be more rough rides. He's kind of in the middle. He didn't really say anything too crazy, but we did say a few things that were a little bit more on the hawkish side. I'm noticing some new headlines on Tesla as well. In other words, the Tesla team is looking at sites in India for an electric hard plant that would cost between $2 and $3 billion. This is some very huge news because there will be a lot of work involved in making this a reality, and it will be a very big relationship. It would be really bullish news for Tesla if they decided to build a gigafactory or disclose a location anytime soon, as there are several advantages for Tesla. Currently, there are still a lot of high taxes in India, including import tariffs. Although Tesla still needs to comply with a number of rules, the recent announcement of new tax reforms has made significant strides. Thus, Tesla may benefit even more. We'll just have to wait and watch if Tesla announces anything about a possible location within India. That will be crucial, and it might also be highly beneficial for Tesla. What do I observe then in terms of share price? To be honest, folks, Tesla is moving higher. I think it's looking positive. Should we be able to keep this level over 170, expect a push up to 172.704. And we might be heading back down to roughly 167.8 to 168 if we lose this 170 area. We will be dropping all the way back to roughly 165 if we lose that support. All things considered, I would argue that Tesla's bullish is still pushing along with the markets, giving it more bullish potential and more life on this chart. I should also mention that Tesla is demonstrating life at this point in the 4-hour time frame. The PS appear to be approaching a crossing. It appears that Tesla may be pushed even further by this. Therefore, from a technical perspective, I think the chart is looking a little more positive at this point. Although Morgan Stanley and a few other companies downgraded the company's share price yesterday, it didn't really damage it that much, and as of right now, it appears to be more bullish, so things are not looking too awful. Permit me to add something more I should have mentioned. In light of all the information released today, the 4-week and 8-week bill auctions are scheduled to begin at 11:30 a.m. Later in the day, we have a number of Fed speakers, including Kugler and Emler, pardon my bad grammar, and then shouting afternoon. So keep an eye out for those as well later on. For the time being, though, the market won't be severely impacted. The market is now surging. As we get closer to the Fed speakers, everything appears to be going well for us and Tesla appears to have further upside. SPY appears the same. It appears to be pushing for 523 quite strongly, and we might keep pumping higher. I did tell you all that SPY ought to keep pushing and honor an upward trend. I'm going to try to push for around 524 and see how we respond up here. The chart appears to be much more bullish thus far. Thus, keep an eye out for 524 and observe the response we receive up here. We have some tight resistance here, so if we reject off CU, we might drop back down. We should be okay if we hold up here, but I do anticipate a possible 524 test happening very soon. The SPY seemed to be more optimistic. Watch 522 is a crucial pillar of support. Without it, we risk dropping below 520. I believe there is more room for us to increase to 524 for this QQQ. We're starting to show some more life, and we're getting close to that tight resistance. We may go as high as 4,475 to 408, but the higher we go, the more closely we need to watch that tight resistance increase, making it appear more bullish. Watch support between 446 and 44 beforehand, but the chart appears positive thus far. Apple is also making an attempt to break out. We have an inverse head and shoulders type structure, which is currently at 17.9. If we break this, we could go as high as 171.5, the 200 EMA, and this imbalance up here, so I see some potential here. Let's see if this continues to push, and overall, Apple is looking pretty darn good. Finally, we have this Nvda stock. Nvda is also looking pretty good. It has dropped a little and is now back within this range, so keep an eye on resistance at 908. If we break through there, we might get another push for at least 915, if not 920. If not, keep an eye on resistance at 908. As of right now, there might be a brief bounce on Nvda. Nevertheless, I do see some potential for the much shorter term for Supermicro. We're trying to break out. We broke 120, so we're going to be looking for a push towards 160. If breaks that, we could get closer to 180 and then 1,100. AMD is actually above its 200 EMA, which indicates some possibility. We're approaching 162. Watch 160 to 162 is resistance, so we have 260 to 262 is resistance, Amazon's approaching 185 as resistance. If we reject off that, we could return to about 183. If we hold above that, we could continue to push towards 186, but I do see a test of. If we keep pushing and looking for a move all the way back up towards higher levels, such as 186 for Coinbase, going to be looking for a push as well. I see an attempt to get closer to 185, and then the meta is looking bullish as well. We've broken this high at 515, so we're going to be looking for a move towards 502. If you reject off 520, it will be heading back down towards 509, but if we keep pushing, watch for a break of an attempt to get to 520, even a breakthrough. For the time being, we're bullish on the markets, but remember to monitor resistance and see what transpires as we get closer to the bill auctions. Please pay close attention to the charts and remember that the bulls are in complete control and that Tesla is about to make a really great bounce attempt. As it gets closer to these imbalances, Tesla has more bullish potential and bears are still standing by to support it. See if Tesla smashes through some significant resistance levels and gives us a good boost from here. To be honest, I think this thing might go even higher, but let's make sure Tesla holds 170. I simply wanted to say how much I appreciate everyone listening. I hope you all have the most amazing remainder of the day, and I will see you in a few hours. With gratitude and goodbye.